What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers podcast, episode 195. And we got what's so funny, Jim?
We're legit just scrolling past that. Got it.
You're upset about Mike Kennedy and Nzechukwu?
Yeah, just the fact that you just said that he was your heavyweight prospect you were looking most forward to was Kennedy and Nzechukwu.
We'll get to all that and more, and all the disappointingness that happened over this weekend from UFC Nashville. Bridgestone Arena, right? 17,000 in attendance. They were going pretty crazy, the fans in Nashville, because they honestly had a lot to go crazy for, especially at the beginning of the card. But before we get into all that, don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate everyone that does. Let's go. All right. Before we get into the UFC stuff, we did have a one championship event that none of us watched.
About to say, what?
I do know that Alicia retained her title via knockout, though.
That's very nice. I guess we should have gone back and watched that. But, you know, it's just the whole stuff of we were saying last time. Terrible event, nothing going on, you know what I mean? Don't really care. But on Friday, too, there was some boxing going on. MSG, Netflix, live, no pay-per-view. It's good old Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But good old Amanda Serano taking on Katie Taylor 3. That wasn't that great of a fight, not gonna lie. I was a little upset with that.
I feel like it makes sense, though. It's like it's their third time fighting. Both of them wanted to fight a smarter fight for sure. So it wasn't as exciting as the first two, but it really wasn't terrible. I feel like you made it seem like it sucked. It wasn't as bad as a lot of boxing fights could be, but it definitely was not their first two fights.
Yeah. So yeah, it definitely could have been a lot worse for sure, but I guess that's where it's just main event, just the whole moment of everything. You know what I mean? It's how the prior two fights have been. It's obvious, like you said, they did try to fight a much smarter fight against each other, but I don't know. Definitely was just hoping for it to just deliver a little bit more. But it did go to a majority decision. One judge scored it 45-45. The other two judges would be 47-43 for Katie Taylor. Yeah. But yeah, I for like the most part, you know, it's just like, I don't know, kind of hard to like keep up with the scoring and everything like that. But especially as the fight started to go long and started to get later into the rounds, it really did feel like Katie Taylor was just pulling ahead, doing just the better work throughout it. I don't know, just Amanda was just, I feel like, too basic with just the constant throwing out the jabs and the 1-2s and just at the air, you know what I mean? Never was able to find the range, never able to get going with a lot, but
then you just had Katie countering with like 5-6 shots and just obviously landing the bigger shots and getting out of there.
But yeah, good for them, though, to have that moment at MSG. Fans were going crazy for fucking Katie Taylor when she won that shit.
I'm sure Katie is happy to put this trilogy to rest and just move the fuck on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, both of them said that no matter the outcome, they were like, we are done with this after. So, I'm sure it's, you fight the same person for 30 rounds straight. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're looking for a new challenge after that.
Yeah.
But let's go. Oh, yeah. That was some boxing on Friday. But on Saturday, we had UFC. Not the most stacked out card overall. Just got a couple names on it, you know, top to bottom. But a lot of the fights did deliver with a lot of fun performances.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the top of it, the reason why we were all here, everybody loves Black Beast main event. You know that if Derrick Lewis goes out there and gets a knockout, like he happened to in this one, 35 seconds in the first round against Tallison Teixeira, the pants were coming off. They're swinging around. He's fucking talking shit. He's just saying some funny shit. He's mooning the crowd, pulling down his undies.
He's just being Derrick Lewis out there.
Some good old fun in there.
Yeah.
But with the actual fight itself, like I said, it was only 35 seconds. How did you guys feel about just the overall performance and just what this kind of means for the heavyweight division?
I think it's kind of just like we said. There is zero reason to put somebody in a main event spot when it is their second fight in the UFC. We mentioned all of the numbers. Derrick Lewis, fuck his professional record. He has more losses in the UFC than Tallison has fights. He
Yep.
had more main event spots than Tallison had professional fights. He
Yep.
just so much more experience in general that why would you put your eggs in one basket of like, no, he can go out there. He's been getting knockouts. He'll knock out Derrick Lewis and we have a prospect. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And here it is to show that you don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree. It definitely also did show Tallison does have some defensive holes in his game. The way he was moving back against Derrick Lewis, got right up against Cage, which Derrick Lewis loves when his opponents do that. So, like, that's kind of an issue there that he needs to work on circling as opposed to moving straight back. That's a lot of fighters, to be fair. So, no shame on that. No, not a lot of shame on that, but like, it just started with Derrick Lewis just throwing hooks. Like, he wasn't like trying to set it up that way. He was just throwing.
Yeah.
So,
which is why I feel like someone like Derrick Lewis is one of the most silliest options you could put for somebody in their main event. Because sure, he can get knocked out, he can get finished, but those are generally against guys that are one experienced. They're just like, yeah, they're actually top contenders. Just all of those things. This is his second fight in the UFC, his first main event spot. And you're putting him against such a big name where it's like, yeah, in 35 seconds, Derrick just ran out there and started landing fucking wild bombs on him, had him backed up like he didn't even have a minute to think literally.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's such an overwhelming difference in there that, yeah, like how is someone so inexperienced going to handle someone like Derrick Lewis doing what he did? We saw it. He turned around and the only reason he got back up to the feet is because he clawed his way up the cage very illegally. Like, it was just it's just dumb. Like,
and that right there, what you're just saying, like with the clawing up the cage, literally grabbing the fence and pulling himself up with the fence, like is completely illegal, and which is why I don't mind the stoppage happening when it did, because it very clearly was an illegal action. He shouldn't have done that. If he did not do that, he was not getting back up to his feet.
Yeah. 100%.
Exactly. And if he's not getting back up to his feet, that just means Derrick Lewis is bombing on him a couple more times on top and it's getting stopped either way. So exactly. Not mad at it. Like, Team Dana didn't give Derrick Lewis a performance bonus because he thought that it was stopped early, but it's like, brother, he brought himself up the cage to stand up. If that, he shouldn't have done that. Had he not done that, it's over anyway. Like,
and just going back to with you saying earlier, just putting, like your eggs into one basket of, hoping that he gets it done. After the fight and just on the broadcast and everything, do you think that, if anything, this was more of just the setup fight for Derrick Lewis to just go out there and get an easy win and like another knockout? Because they were like on the broadcast just talking about like him, like, oh, he hasn't fought Tom Aspinall yet, like they were just already setting that up.
That's
true. This puts him on a 2-fight win streak, 2 knockout streak, another main event win. You know what I mean? I just wonder if that was actually the angle that they were looking for, because it's like, Tallison, obviously a new prospect, 1 fight in the UFC, 25 years old. Derrick Lewis is the oldest heavyweight on the roster at this point at 40 years old. Like, he obviously has plenty of time to work and grow and get some fights in. So I wonder if that was the actual angle they were just looking for.
I don't think they really had an end goal. I don't think that was the end goal. I think they were kind of 50-50 on it. Because Derrick Lewis wins, all right, cool. We can throw him up against someone up higher ranked, get him one more win to get to Tom Aspinall, and we get a new fight up there. Cool. Or they get Tallison Teixeira, he wins. Cool. He hasn't fought anybody. We have the world is our oyster on this one. We can literally have him fight anyone in the top 10, top 5, and have him move up and be, a contender against Tom Aspinall. Someone who is also now a new fight for him as well. So I think it was kind of a 50-50 thing. They were just like, it's like with Derrick Lewis, he was bringing up the fact that, hey, I've never, I guess in fighter meetings and media day and all that, hey, I haven't fought Tom Aspinall. Why don't I fight Tom so that's kind of part of why they probably brought it up so much, because he was bringing it up a lot for this.
I gotcha.
But if they are going to try to go to that, do you think that what they're going to do is put him against Curtis Blades in the rematch and hope that he can just knock him the fuck out again?
That's the fight that I said is... I'm going to be posting who I think everyone should be fighting next after the on Instagram tomorrow. But the one that I put down was Derrick Lewis versus Curtis Blades, because I figured more likely that's what the UFC's probably going to do. That is what they do. Curtis, you're doing all right. Here's the heaviest hitter in the division.
I wonder. That's very possible.
But not only are you doing all right, but Curtis, you're ranked number 4. This is the easiest path technically, because everyone else is a very sketchy fight. It's not like, and not that Curtis isn't sketchy, you know what I mean? It's not guaranteed it's going to go that way.
That it's sketchy, but
and that's the one that they're probably most hopeful for. He's the top 5 guy. You get a win off that 3-fight win streak, new contender, that can easily get you into a title shot.
Yeah.
But anyone else in the top 5, he's either already lost to,
or I think
except Volkov. Nope, not Volkov.
Everyone in the top 5 is a rematch for him. And like you said, he's lost everyone other than Volkov, which that was a fucking
Volkov and Blades.
Comeback. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Blades too. Sorry, but yeah, like that. Oh.
That is exactly what I think is going to happen. And the reason I don't think they go to the Volkov rematch is because I feel like Volkov has shown so much improvement that he's not going to make the same mistake and he's not going to get hit. Curtis Blades is still very hittable. Curtis Blades, stylistically, on the feet, is a much easier fight than Volkov. When it comes to the grappling, Derrick Lewis has shown he can time the Curtis Blades shot because he likes to shoot out from distance and time that uppercut to be able to knock him out. I think they're going to go to that fight, and it's going to make it to where we get potentially like the week before, we'll get like Tom and Cyril in France or something, and then like the week after, 2-3 weeks after, we're getting Blades versus Derrick Lewis in a main event.
I mean, it won't work exactly like that, but I see. But that is very possible for the UFC to go to that, because it's like, in order, if they do want to just get him into that fight, they are gonna. But that's where it's like the UFC, they really wanted to, you know what I mean? They could always, like, Waldo is fighting Pavlovich, so let's say fucking, Waldo wins. If like they really want to drop him down, it's like, I don't know, they could do fucking him versus Tybura type shit, you know what I mean? He gets a knockout 3-fight win streak, and you know what the UFC doesn't care that much at like certain points of just getting a specific win, you know what I mean? But that is probably a good chance that they do go to Derrick Lewis and Curtis Blades.
I just feel like that's the fight that makes most sense for him. Like, because I think Spivak, like they just fought fairly recently. If I remember. 2022. No, sorry, 23. So not as far back as I thought, but like they're gonna have him fight up. I know they are, because they were talking so much about the Tom Aspinall of the whole situation, I guess to say. So I feel like they're gonna have him fight up, and it's gonna be someone like possibly the loser of Sergey Waldo.
So crazy,
but
that literally the only people like in the top 10 that Derrick Lewis hasn't fought at this point is Waldo and then Thomas Champ. Literally everybody else is a rematch.
Literally
beat Ty, or no, lost to Ty. Sorry,
lost Pavlovich, lost to Spivak.
Beat Tybura, lost to Almeida, beat Blades, like beat Volkov, lost to Gon. Like, man, I don't know what the fuck they do with Derrick Lewis. I feel like that really just his next fight, that's just all going to depend on what the UFC wants to do, because it's like, with all of that of just every fight is a rematch, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, do they actually want to move him up, or do they just want to keep him fighting back and just fighting whoever, you know what I mean?
Try and build someone's name. But like, I mean, the thing is, you haven't beat Curtis. Like, let's say they book him against Curtis, he beats Curtis. Tom's on he's now defended the title against Cyril Gahn. I feel like that could be a pretty big fight. I feel like they'd be able to hype that up.
I mean, the UFC will do their best to hype that up, but at the end of the day, no matter what kind of a streak Derrick Lewis is on. Everybody knows, like, Derrick Lewis is Derrick Lewis. You know what I mean?
He's going to lose
It's
that fight,
like,
yeah, but
yeah, like that. Everybody is going to expect him to lose that. Tom probably runs through him like it's nothing, and we're all going to be like, yeah, of course. You know, so
No,
like
yeah.
that's why I also feel like with him, you don't really even need like that big like step up win or anything. You know, you just
Yeah.
kind of do whatever. But no,
No,
yeah, I
that's
get
fair.
that. It definitely it would be one of the bigger fights in the division for sure, because there's not much in terms of big fights at heavyweight right now.
No, there isn't.
But yeah, we'll see what the UFC does with Derrick Lewis. Definitely a nice win for him,
Yeah.
though. Just add into the resume, add into all the records. For Tallison, just go and fight some of the other scrubs in the back end of the heavyweight division. You know what I mean? Get a
Small Pokes, Thomas Peterson, get some of them under your belt.
Tafa, fucking, you know,
Yeah.
just some like that to see where.
Well, he
he's
already fought
actually at.
Tafa, but
Yeah, true.
I get
He's
what you're
just always the
saying.
name I think of.
No, I know.
But yeah, let's go. Co-main event, though. We possibly got ourselves a new ranked contender with this one. I don't know. We'll see what the UFC actually does with it, because I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get ranking 2. Gabriel Bonfim gets a split decision win over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson over 3 rounds.
Yep.
Pretty solid fight overall. Like, definitely don't have complaints. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys? I know it was a very close fight, but how do you guys feel with the scorecards? Who do you think should have gotten the decision?
I said before the scorecards were read, 29-28 either way. Because I feel like it's one of those things. First and foremost, a close fight is not a robbery.
Yep.
It's just that's not how the fuck it works, but that's just how I felt. I wasn't really sure, like, you know, where it was going to go, because I did think it was incredibly close. And I thought that, yeah, like, you know, it could go either way. Split decision to Bonfim. I'm not mad about it.
Yep. And I also thought it could go either way during the fight companion. Completely did not hear Katie say it and said the same thing about 5 seconds after she did.
Funny little moment.
It was funny.
I forgot about that.
But yeah, no, I thought it could go either way. Like, just looking at the just the striking numbers, Bonfim, I definitely had Bonfim winning the first round, because there was also he was 2 for 3 for takedowns. Like, he won the first round. Second round was definitely Wonderboy, in my opinion, and then that third round just came down to who did you have winning it? Who do you think did the most damage? Because, like, control time was 2:45 for Bonfim, went 2 for 6 on takedowns. Not a lot of shots landed. Well, not a lot of significant strikes landed. There was a total of 32 for Wonderboy, 22 for Gabriel in that round. It just, like, however you wanted to score that last round was kind of a toss up. So
yeah, it definitely on the judges' scores and everything, it did come down to the like the third round in general.
Yeah.
One of the it's like, yeah, same thing where it's a close fight. I definitely in my head was edging Wonderboy and felt like he probably should have gotten it, and you know, when they read it for Bonfim, it was more of just the ups, like, just disappointed for Wonderboy that it's like, damn, 42 years old, put on such a close fight like that, and probably, you know, like, easily could have gotten the nod in it, but now just another loss, you know, just a very inactive fighter, so it just stacking up, and it just very rough for him. But with the striking, I was just very impressed overall with Bonfim.
Yeah.
Because that was just something where I was the most curious about, because I knew that he was obviously going to have the grappling advantage in this one, but I really didn't think that it was going to be an overwhelming threat to Wonderboy, just considering how well he's dealt with so many grapplers across the years. But the striking of Bonfim has just been overall questionable in his game. He's obviously been proving it over the last couple of fights, and we really saw that in the KS Williams one, talking about that in the preview coming in. So I just wanted to see how he was able to, just what he did with Wonderboy's style. And just like going off that, like at the start of the first round, bro, Wonderboy really fucking looked old. dude was not as fucking bouncy. He was much more stationary. As the fight went on, he definitely got more into his rhythm.
Which made me feel like it was what I said, because, we were talking about it, and I was like, I wonder if even at the age of 42, if he was like, no, he's a grappler, I have to do this differently. Maybe after getting subbed, it was like what did it for him, or you know what I mean? Where he's like, maybe I just got to do this a little different, and then got into his rhythm. But yeah, he definitely looked like, just like you said, stationary.
Yeah. And just like, I definitely do think that it's like, this was the real performance for me, where it's like, okay, Wonder Boy, I feel like is starting to show that age a bit. But for Bonfim to not just like to not be chasing after Wonder Boy, like that was just such a good thing. He was always just like, he made Wonder Boy come to him in a lot of moments and was just able to counter really well. He hit him with a lot of really good leg kicks in this fight, was very consistent on that. Whenever he was able to land shots on Wonder Boy, just very big impact on him. Like the difference in the shots that they were landing, you know what I mean? Like Bonfim strikes were much more effective on Wonder Boy consistently throughout the fight. It just just a lot of good work for him throughout it. It was just another very thoughtful performance in the striking, and you're just really starting to see it all come together in his game.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm glad you said consistently, because there was one head kick from Thompson that rocked the shit out of Bonfim. And it was like, oh shit.
Right, and that was at the end of round 2, which is what I think gave that to Wonder Boy, because when it came to round 2, Wonder Boy was obviously doing more, but it was like every time Bonfim really landed clean, because it was like the left hooks that he was landing that it just had Wonder Boy stepping back and just looking a little hurt off of them, where it was like, okay, clearly his shots are more impactful. Like, yeah, you're running at him with the blitzing 1-2, but he's slipping out of it, he's backing up out of it, it's really not crazy, but then he's countering with that left hook that's kind of just stopping you in your tracks. So it really wasn't until that head kick moment that it was like, okay, Wonder Boy might have just stole this round. So I really wasn't even sure with that one how they were going to score it, because you did more, but up until that moment you weren't doing much though, so his striking, it is good to see that it definitely is improving.
Love to see improvement in the striking. I'm someone who's been primarily a submission specialist, so
because 16 wins now for him, or 18, and he's got 15 subs. He is, definitely also out there.
After gassing out against Nicholas Dalby, has definitely been improving his cardio and improving his patience with what he does. So that's also really good to see.
And because I feel like that's always the biggest thing, where you see a lot of times where people gas out, and it's like a lot of these people, they're professional fighters, they are athletes to a certain extent a lot of time, you know what I mean? But it's they obviously have good cardio and good endurance, but it's just the ability to manage it. And a lot of times for fighters, when they get into a fight, it's a very hard thing to do. And so I feel like that has been a very big thing, where Dalby just brought him into a brawl. That was a fucking wild fight from the start. Dalby was getting hurt, but he was able to survive, and then he just got Bonfim tired, and you know what I mean? He wasn't, and that's where with this one, it's he wasn't, even when he was landing good shots on Wonder Boy, he's not chasing after him. He's not doing Wonder Boy is normally normally Wonder Boy is I'm bouncing, I'm on the back, the back foot, I'm the counter fighter. He does obviously have his blitz, you know what I mean? But it's normally it's people pushing on Wonder Boy, but he made Wonder Boy come to him, Wonder Boy having more strike attempt overall in the fight. It was just super good.
And I know that, but with the blitz, I feel like he was doing that because he had to. Because said, Bonfim wasn't chasing after him, so he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna run in with my blitz. And I feel like that's why in round 2 he ended up doing more. And you know, aside from the head kick at the end, you know what I mean? But it was I feel like he kept going to that, but then he was getting countered for it.
No, that was definitely happening.
And then it just round 3 was close again. Wonder Boy was definitely cooking early on. Started to just get it going more throughout the round, but I seen a lot of fighters were very upset with that decision, though. A lot of them thought that Wonder Boy should have gotten it,
but again, I can understand, but it's one of those things. It's gonna happen, and it's like I said, or like we said, it was a close fight. It's not like this was a robbery by any stretch of the imagination.
And it's like, yeah, just with saying that, Bonfim going to the legs a lot, significant strikes landed by target, 57% to the legs. So it just very consistent with that, really hammering those home. And it's just always going to be a very big thing to do against just a very mobile fighters. And
the way Wonder Boy's shins split open on that check. I saw a post from him today that he said that like it's split to the bone, and I was like, well, duh, there's not much skin and stuff going on there that you check it. Your bone is right there. Of course it happens.
I mean, also doesn't help too when as soon as you do it, you just start chucking that shit at their fucking head as well. He literally did that and then just started a head kick. I'm just like, stop it. It was my sorry.
No, that was gross. It was so deep. It was so funny when it was in the third round and Bonfim had Wonder Boy clinched up against the cage, and the way you saw the ref kind of be like, there's not much going on, and just start staring at his
he got down at one point just looking at that shit.
I know, and then he got up, and then he just see him, he looks up, and then he just looks down, and he looks up, and he looks down. And he looks up. That shit was nasty.
It was gross.
Wonder Boy, just tough as hell as always, man. 42 years old, still out here, just putting up real tough fights with all these young bucks. It's just very impressive to see.
Yeah, Jack Shore was somewhere punching air.
Yep, very upset about that. With that, though, Bonfim is on now 3-fight winning streak. He's got the 1 finish, 2 decision wins with that. Wonder Boy is ranked number 14 heading in?
No, 12.
I thought he was back a little bit more. Ranked number 12 heading into this. So Bonfim probably does get a ranking with that.
Probably gets 14.
He should, because
maybe he might just get 15.
Have MVP.
MVP's fighting Jared Cannonier. Obviously, you can move Prate's up to 12, Kevin Holland up to 13, have Thompson at 15, Bonfim at 14? And that's just because of the streak?
I mean, at this point, it's like, honestly, you could just draw Wonder Boy out. You take out MVP. You fucking, you could put in Bonfim. You can put in fucking
Bonfim and Carlos Leal.
Yeah, just there.
Actually, Randy Brown probably deserves it a bit more.
Yeah, Randy Brown, like that. Plenty of names that you could give that number 15 spot to that I wouldn't be mad at.
Yeah, no.
But with that win, where do you think Bonfim should go? Like, what do you want to see? But where do you think the UFC is probably going to put him in? Like, what does he actually get next?
So, I'm going to start with where I think the UFC is going to potentially put him next. I want to say that's potentially going to be the loser of Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. I feel like Prates should be able to win that, and then you just get the Jeff Neal fight out of the way. You get someone who's a bit higher up, a veteran. You get past him, you get up to higher levels in the division that you can start fighting. Personally speaking, I want him to fight Covington.
That's fair. Yeah, that's just a nightmare matchup for Colby. Like, that is.
Yes.
That is definitely a nice, easy way to get Bonfim into the top 10.
Yes.
Because, like, I definitely get that. And, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, who's really going to be mad at that? But I also kind of feel like we should learn from the Buckley situation. And if guys shouldn't just get, like, especially at 170, you can't just give them the old man tour and have them beat all the old guys, and then just like, oh, well, now you're fighting, like one of the guys, and it's like,
and I get it.
I feel like that.
But the problem is where he's at in the that bottom end of the division is the old man tour. Colby, Burns, Neal. Like, hell, you could even Thompson. You can technically throw in like MVP in that, even though he is still old though in the division. Like, you know what I mean? Like is just the old man's tour. Outside of Holland, Prates, and then you have right above Colby is then Morales, Buckley, Gary. You have old man Usman and Leon, then Shavkat, Sean, and then old man Bilal. Like, that's what the division is.
That feels disrespectful.
It does feel disrespectful.
It wasn't meant to be. It was
He's a
just,
young old, you know.
no, and he's still obviously at the top of his game. Like
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
It just like because I went to Shavkat and Sean, I just like, okay, I need to differentiate Bilal from that. But that, like, most of the division, like, unless we're saying like, all right, Bonfim, you just won. Here's Michael Morales or here's Buckley. Like, you kind of have to give him a bit of the old man's tour because that's where the division is right now. We're trying to get all the old men out of the division.
Yeah.
So the thing that I do wonder though, with like, you know, how the UFC is going to go about it is like I wonder if they're actually gonna just like push him up like that. Like, yeah, like let's keep doing this. Or if they're gonna look at that performance, rank him at number 14, and then for his next fight, it's gonna be more of a defend your spot type of deal.
I could see
And
it.
the only reason why I say that is because it's 170. There's so much going on, and it's gonna kind of get jammed a bit if things don't keep moving. And if you keep adding to it, it's only gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if with a performance like that, if they're not going to be so quick to add to the mix, you know, because you have Jack that's supposed to fight Islam, but there's no official date on that. Sean Brady, Shavkat is saying that he wants to fight for the title next. So he's kind of holding his spot right now.
Yeah.
You know, Leon and who's been holding the spots at 4 and 5, but then Ian Gary, who's kind of down to fight, Michael Morales, who's down to fight. Prate's lost his last fight, and so did Buckley. But I'm sure that especially because of that, you know, Prate's got a fight coming up with Neil. I think that he should be able to win that, throw him back into the mix, and he'll be down to fight whoever. Buckley is going to be down to fight because he's going to want to keep his name in the mix. You know, there's just like a lot going on up there already that, like, with him going to a split decision with Wonder Boy, I wonder if they're going to be like, we don't care. We have Carlos Leal sitting right outside the top 15. We have
Randy
Brian
Brown
Battle sitting right outside the top 15. We have, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like a couple of names where we're having exciting fights where they might just be like, well, defend it. Have a better fight, and then we could see you up in the mix, you know?
Yeah.
No, yeah. That's definitely kind of something that they could do. It's just one of those things right now where it is just welterweight being in a weird spot, and a lot of these guys who just have held position and just held their spot for a long time because of legacy, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, shit,
like,
even with like Gary, you know, he was having good fights. He had a impressive performance over Neil Magny, but didn't show the killer instinct. Still got his Jeff Neal fight, went to a split decision. They were like MVP, you know, like coming in, making his debut. He's a bigger name, so like not exactly the same, but it's like, yeah, fight this guy. We're not going to move you up. We're not going to give you this bigger name. We're going to give you the Bellator guy, you know, and then he got the Shavkat opportunity on short notice, and then I feel like because of that, it's like, yeah, Carlos Prates now, but you know what I mean, like. You kind of have to do something. They weren't just moving Ian up, and I feel like they might do that with him.
No, that's fair. And I mean, even with like Carlos Prates, like he was ranked real far back too, so it's like
exactly.
No, yeah. And the thing is, like with some of the guys, it's like someone who's like Thompson, Burns, obviously both lower end of the division right now, but they're both on 4 fight, 1 on 3 fight losing streak, 1 on 4 fight losing streak. Yeah, Colby's in there on a 2 fight losing streak, 1 in 3 in his last 4. Like they should honestly be lower in the division, right?
No, I get that. We'll see. I honestly, because like with you talking about like the Prates Neal fight, I feel like no matter what, I would just see Bonfim fight Jeff Neal next. I feel like that's just a very good test for him to see where he's at.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And then like you were talking about Buckley's down to fight. I mean, Kevin Holland beats D-Rod. Why not just run that rematch at 170?
Yo, I'm so down for that.
I am so down. And then guess what? If Chris Curtis wins his next fight, run that rematch at 170.
Wait, no. I'm sorry, but we cannot do that with Kevin Holland. He's had all these fights and never had a rematch. We're not going to start now.
That's true.
Got a motherfucker that fights 10 times a year and has never been in a rematch.
That's true. We got to get him to 50 fights, and it's 50 different people. That's very fair.
Fine. Kevin Holland takes Colby out of the division.
Yeah, he's been calling for that.
He wants the worst
welterweight. Yeah.
Let's go. But sadly, talking about old guys that are getting out of the division in the rankings.
Yeah.
In the featured bout, motherfucking the mean machine, man. Steve Garcia absolutely put it on Calvin Kattar across 3 rounds. Yeah, that was a much more thorough, dominant performance than I expected from Steve Garcia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised if he got the knockout. Like, I know Kattar's never been finished before, but he goes forward, he lands big bombs, and I wouldn't have been surprised with all the damage and the age of Kattar and everything. For the fact that he didn't get the knockout and to still out-punch, outland, like, just everything and just dominate him for 15 minutes, very impressive. Yeah. Very impressive.
He wasn't the first person to knock him out, but he was the first person to get a knockdown over him. He has never been knocked down inside the UFC. So there's that. But it is kind of crazy looking at the numbers because it's like Steve Garcia obviously did great, but they both had each other swinging at air.
Oh, yeah.
Accuracy on this, 21% for Calvin Kattar, significant strikes, 26 of 123, and then 34% for Steve Garcia, 85 of 250.
Yeah.
Like, crazy.
No, it is insane. And like with that, like the one thing that I was thinking was like, out of all the things Kattar to have kept throughout the years, it's his head movement, I guess. Because outside of his head movement, I'm not gonna lie, kind of looked like an old man out there. Kind of not an old man so much, but definitely a fighter from a bygone era. The division and the age have finally caught up to him to where he's not able to do what he used to do.
Yeah, he's 37 at 145. He kind of is an old man here. You know?
He is. But...
because it's obviously like aging and like fighters, it obviously it like manifests in different ways and stuff.
Yep.
And I feel like one of the big things like from Kattar in this one, because obviously like from like what he was attempting, it's not like it was terrible or anything, but it was just the commitment to it. It just felt like he's like you're saying, like everything's catching up and just getting a big gun shy out there. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want a war with Steve Garcia in there. He did, like where so many other fights where it's like, as a striker and just a good boxer, he would just, okay, let me sit down on a 1-2, let me go. Like he's obviously has great defense, but he was always willing to like go for it to try and get the better of it. It didn't seem like he was that willing in this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was very aware of the power of Steve Garcia, and he was doing his best to not let him land on him.
Yeah. And Steve was doing good at going to the body too. He landed at a 27% clip there. 23 total strikes of the 85 landed were to the body. So, doing good at mixing it up. Had some good leg kicks in there, but Steve definitely did a good job. For as much as Calvin was trying to keep up the head movement and be out the way, and as much as he had Steve swinging on air, he still obviously got the better of it and was still had Kattar missing more and just, you know what I mean? He just, definitely looked good in there. And at 33 years old, now is the time to cook through the division as much as you can.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it would just like saying too of like it really is just crazy of like talking about the head movement specifically of Kattar and just the ability to not get hit with the shots, because it's like significant strikes, leg kicks attempted 13, landed 10, body strikes 29, landed 23. Then to the head, attempted 208, landed 52. Like that is the only area that he was missing. Like, yes. And it's like he was definitely it seemed like he was trying to be a little bit more in himself too. You know what I mean? Not be as reckless with the striking, just going out there swinging, knowing that Kattar is just a good striker and can be a devastating hitter. Had a few moments of throwing out some elbows in there, you know what I mean? Which Steve handled very well. But that was the shit where I was just like, like Steve coming in, just throwing some wild shit, and Kattar just smacks him up with the elbow, spinning back elbow, whatever. It's like easily a viable way for him to get a knockout on him, but just wasn't enough to get a win over Steve Garcia last night.
No, and like even in that third round, like he had to be careful because like Kattar was just at a certain point, just like, all right, fuck it, I'm just throwing shit at the fucking wall at this point. Like, how many times have we seen Calvin Kattar throw a spinning back fist in a fight? How many times have we seen him do it twice in one fight?
Who did he fight right after Max Holloway?
Giga.
He definitely threw a spinning back elbow. Well, not a spinning back fist, but a spinning back elbow in that fight.
Well, here's the thing though. That was after a Max Holloway loss, so he came back with the Holloway elbows.
Exactly, that was the thing. But yes. He learned it from Max Holloway and then has now used it multiple times.
Look, it happened twice. Brian Ortega and him both came back with elbows all of a sudden after losing to Holloway.
Yes. They're just like, I can't be punching with people. I can't do enough damage. I gotta smack them in the head. With
But no, like he was definitely, because he was throwing like jab straight, fuck it, spinning back fit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
he landed him,
yeah.
but just wasn't enough to do anything at that point.
Yes, sir. With that, Steve Garcia, he said it himself. He was very upset that he didn't keep his winning streak, or not the finish streak.
Yeah.
Knockout streak specifically.
Yeah. It just, if he got a knockout in this one, I think it was only Chuck Liddell that would have been ahead of him. Like going with
Probably
more consecutive knockouts in a row, but. A very solid win for him. Kattar at number 14, obviously just a rough point in his career, just the losing streak and everything. But the names that it was funny because he said that he wanted to fight like, just some of the people like, coming up in a Apex main event. He said Yusuf Zalal. He said Josh Emmett, and then David Onama. Which, because it's like, I know that, when you're saying, you're just like, oh, everyone ranked ahead of him, and it's like, I get that, but it's like, Zalal Onama, they are also just coming up with him, but it was like, Josh Emmett? Like, it's like, listen, that is the fight that I want. That is what should happen. Give me a fucking 5-round main event of fucking Steve Garcia and Josh Emmett, please. But it's just one of these guys coming up, like, what?
Thinking about it after, maybe he, like, said it in the wrong way, but when he meant coming up in the rankings, because Kattar was 14, but you have Onama at 13, Yusuf at 11, and Josh Emmett at 9. So like maybe he kind of just meant like coming up in his path.
I see what.
Yeah. I mean, the other two people who are ahead would be Jean Silva, who's fighting Diego Lopez, and Dan Ige, who's fighting Patricio Pitbull. So couldn't say either of those names. Even though I was kind of like,
to go back on a knockout streak. He's not trying to fight Ige.
Which I was saying, hey, if he gets a knockout over Kattar, let's see if he can knock out Ige as well. But
it's like, no, you give him someone with the opportunity for him to knock out. You got to make it fun. Like he said, he's 33 years old. He's got to fucking cook. He's just some random fucking dude from America that don't got no crazy personality or anything. There ain't nothing about him other than he just knocks people out. He's a fun striker. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got to have those big moments for people to be like, yes, let's see him.
Which is why you do what you say, and you have him fight Josh Emmett. You have Yusuf Zalal fight Aljamain Sterling. Lerone Murphy versus Brian Ortega. Arnold Allen versus Charriere.
Well, Aljo and Ortega are fighting each other.
I forgot about that fight.
Yeah.
Yusuf versus Lerone Murphy.
I'd honestly be pretty down for that, not gonna lie. But yeah,
Arnold Allen versus Charriere.
I saw something that Arnie said that he was fighting. Yeah, that was a while ago. And
that was a while ago. And then just Volk, you get the rest of the year off. You're fine. You don't need to fight.
No, he's fighting Movzar.
Movzar's fighting Pico here soon.
Yeah, and he's gonna beat Pico, and then Volk fights him. Done.
More likely.
But yeah, they really should do Steve Garcia and Josh Emmett. That is easily the best fight, the most fun fight, the most interesting one. Because it's like everyone behind him, I just don't really have as much interest in seeing Steve Garcia fight, and then everyone above Josh Emmett is just too big of a step up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's just like, I'm not confident you have a chance in these yet.
Yeah. I'm extra not interested in like the Yusuf Zalal fight.
Oh God.
Because it's gonna be one of two fights. Steve Garcia is either gonna knock him the fuck out, or it's gonna be what he looked like against Kattar, which is just boring, and he doesn't need that as a young contender rising up in the rankings. You know what I mean? Where he's just gonna be very elusive, very in and out, and really try to avoid getting hit at all fucking costs.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be a fun fight. Like
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with the Mean Machine, but just on a very nice streak for himself, and then see what he's able to do in the featherweight division. For Kattar, it's probably should just retire. I agree
with that.
because it especially at 145, it's like there are just so many good fighters. There's a lot of good strikers that it's any good striker, he's just going to be taking a lot of damage. And then anyone else that's a grappler, I don't know. He probably just gets out grappled at this point by people coming up. You know what I mean? And then it's like he is a decently sized guy at 145, but like just an attempt to like move divisions or anything. You know what I mean?
I think he's too big to go to 135. He's too small to go to 155.
Yeah,
and 155 is littered with grapplers who are gonna fuck him up.
Yeah, so it's I really don't know what the game plan is for him, and what obviously it always just depends on what he wants to do, and he has been a top guy for a very long time at this point, so the UFC will allow him to go on a much longer losing streak than they should. But
I mean 5 is already kind of pushing it, I feel like. I think the goal, I think the plan,
he'll be realistic, and he'll be like, listen guys, I'm old, but I don't want to hang it up. Give me all of your 1 and 3 fighters. Back to back to back. 1 and 4 and cut them.
And if only the UFC...
I'll be the career executioner.
Because, I mean, this is easy enough to bump him out the rankings, so now you can match him up with whoever. 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4.
This is true, but then they are also going to be like, oh, we got a guy who still somewhat kind of has a name. Here, Chepe Mariscal. Here's Sean Woodson. Here, Pat Sabatini. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't think of much people outside the rankings that are kind of like on the way up or like hyped or anything. You know what I mean?
Not so much hyped, but it gets them a name, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, but I'm just like, it's the reason why, like, even when the guys like that get out the rankings, why they don't like, oh, it's just fight anyone. It's because they still like, you still are paying them a hefty price tag, you know what I mean? So you're gonna make sure you give that value of their name to a worthwhile guy, and it's gonna be a very hard fight, more than likely. So
you give them to whoever, and then you let them get a fun knockout, and then you get the worthwhile performance.
Means nothing.
And that's why I said Chepe, because I feel like he's the closest one to getting into the top 15 right now, and I feel like that's just gonna be a good fight.
Fine, give him someone like Juicy J. Not someone coming up, but someone that's fun, you know?
Interesting.
That's bro, the way that he would fucking mollywop Juicy J, man.
Yeah, in a fun fight. A fun old man's veteran.
Do that.
Bro, that's the
They're
fight.
giving him fucking
Kattar
William Gomes, man.
Officially negative in the UFC at 7 and 8. It's time. Juicy J.
They're giving him William Gomes.
Billy Q.
They're not giving him Billy Q.
Go back to the monster, Kyle Nelson.
They might go back to that. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, come on, they were gonna do it once. It's like, there are fights you can make.
And I mean, shit, they might go. Like, you're right with all that, but they might go to the other Frenchman, Morgan Charriere.
Yeah, see, it's like that's the kind of shit. Like, that's. But yeah, so we'll see what they do with Steve. We'll see what they do with Calvin. But speaking of Morgan Charriere, he was the next fight. He was taking on Nate the Train.
They got fight of the night.
They did get fight of the night. He got a knockout in the 3rd round. Got me the perfect Tapology. Very happy about that. 27 seconds into it, 3rd round started, and he said, "I want to go home." That's basically what happened.
I want to go back to Paris.
But this overall performance was just so much worse than I anticipated from him, honestly, that I'm just like, I don't really know how I just feel about the overall body of work from the
Which
fight,
I kind of understand what you're saying, but like, me and Katie were both kind of saying the same thing before the fight. You're like, no, he's gonna fucking beat the shit out of Nate Landwehr. And it's like, is he? Which he did, but like, there was...
Yeah, and the only reason why I questioned it, and it's like, it really showed, I feel like, in round 2, because, round 1, both of them started off slow, which was weird from Nate, not very surprising for Morgan, And And then as they started going, Morgan was just like, he was able to find like a good rhythm because Nate didn't put too much out on him. So he was, just outstriking him. He was landing good shots. He was going well.
Going in for a couple takedowns.
But then round 2 came along and Nate was like, I can't be patient. I have to do what I normally do and just and he did. And that's where Morgan fell into exactly what I had brought up, where you start overwhelming him with pressure and it's like he just stops in his tracks. He thinks too much. He doesn't know what to throw out. Nate was not very accurate in that round, which was good for Morgan, but he outstruck him by like 40 strikes. It was 103 to 64 total thrown, but he only outlanded him by 10 because like I said, that accuracy issue. But it's like Morgan was just like not doing much, and like you see him standing in front of him waiting for Nate to come at him and like trying to like be faster than him and like, okay, now you're throwing, now I'm going to counter you. But once Nate started coming in with too much, it's like, he just doesn't really know what to do there. And then even when it came down to the finish, the way he just had him on the cage and was just like crazy left and right hooks, it's just so bad. It's like what we see with BSD. It's so open.
It is. Like I said, great finishing instincts, not great finishing execution. That's like, I feel that way about a lot of the French fighters. I'm just kind of realizing that. Cyril Gane, same thing. Benoit Saint-Denis, same thing. Like they kind of just start throwing left, right, left, right, left, right. Like, and it's just like, if someone is just not as hard as you think they are, that is so easily counterable. Luckily for you guys, you are powerful enough that they are just hurt enough to not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah. And because it's like, with the preview, I definitely understood with just like, the and and like I could see like, those moments and like, okay, exchanges, losing rounds or whatever because of that. But it's, I guess for me, like as it was going on, it was the inability of actually being able to deal with it and even like just moving and like just how effective Nate was in those moments. That was the more concerning part to me. I'm not surprised that Nate landed more. I'm not surprised that he attempted more and that he would, what I mean? But it was just those moments where, he's coming in and then Morgan's like, okay, let me like move out of the way. And then he would just still get caught by like 3 shots or something. It's just like, that's where it was just like, damn, like it just wasn't looking good. That's where like, I don't know. And that, I don't know if that's why the third round, he's like, I just got to fucking end this. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't deal with that pressure. So it was just like, let me just try and overwhelm him myself, But I don't know. It was just he just always been like, a very solid fighter. He obviously has the flaws of not doing enough and letting his opponents get into their groove and not taking their fight away from them. But this was really one of like, okay, I feel like it was like, there are just more than that. You know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know. I really just do wonder what he is going to do in this division at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if they don't do something like a Calvin Kattar, which I actually don't think they're going to do, I would actually like to see him against like a Joe Anderson Brito.
Yeah, that would be a very tough fight for him. I definitely would not mind seeing that.
Because at the moment he is 3-2. He's back and forth with his wins and losses. He's comes in, gets the body kick KO, then loses a split to Chepe, gets a left hook KO, loses a UD, gets a KO. Damn, if he's in the UFC, he can only win by KO TKO so far.
I mean, that's essentially his whole career either way.
That is true. He mainly loses
5 decision wins, but he also he's 21-11, and 10 of his losses are by decision.
I was gonna say, does he have 10 decision losses?
Yes.
Yeah, it was like his 3rd or 4th professional fight. He lost by sub, and that was his one finish loss, and he's lost 10 decisions since. Most of them being split decisions, majority decisions.
I just love how I'm looking at his record, and it's the decisions. He's lost 5 UD, lost 5 split. He's won 1 UD, 3 split or majority, 1 other decision. That's the description on Tapology. 1 other decision.
Very nice. But yeah. So, like you said earlier, though, got fight of the night. So good for them to both get $50,000. Definitely deserve that. It was a whole lot of fun. But yeah. we'll see what where both of them end up going. Next couple fights, we got all the motherfuckers that were changing their divisions,
Yes.
and it went pretty good for the most part.
2-1.
Yep.
I mean, 2-1, you know. Kind
Vitor
of the
Petrino.
ones we thought.
Mhm.
Kind of, I was just saying, kind of the ones we thought were going to win, won.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get it. But Vitor Petrino taking on Austen Lane. I will honestly say, when I saw how fucking big Vitor was,
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried because it was like saying in the
Yes.
preview. I feel like just being faster and just using that is probably going to be the smarter thing. But dude was just like holy
huge.
fucking
He
shit,
he
bro.
came in heavier than Austen Lane, 249 pounds. Like, oh,
I
Yeah.
was
Alright.
I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is gonna be hit or miss. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it ends up getting the first round finish.
Turns out it was a hit.
I mean, yes, he got the win. I was
it's not
honestly
so bad.
very unimpressed because he got the takedown, he got on top, he got mount on Austen Lane. You know,
Yeah.
it like he had it for so long and not able to do anything. And it was the fact of Austen also just being on his back and literally not attempting to do anything to
Yes.
just scramble, get to his side, buck. He literally just laid there. And
Yep.
the fact that it took even like that long, 4 minutes and 16 seconds for Vitor to find like end up with a choke. It was like, this was such a poor man's Jailton
Yeah.
Almeida performance that it was like, holy shit.
right. Because with the first submission attempt being the arm triangle choke,
Yes.
full mount, has it locked up. He did one like little half-ass attempt to pass where Austen like put his knee up, I think, and just made it like ever so slightly an obstacle.
Yeah.
And then he just decided, I'm just gonna like stay here to choke. And then he's like, I guess I'll go. I couldn't pass. And it's like, okay, that was a really piss poor attempt for something you had locked up and definitely could have got. And then, like you said, it wasn't until Austen, finally kind of turned a little bit, gave up his back, and then he got the RNC. Like,
Yeah. So I will say this: he got the takedown at 3 minutes 50 seconds of the round. I actually took good notes for this because I was curious, and he got it off of body kick, gets him down, gets full mount immediately, and then just did exactly what you guys said until he finally decided to say "fuck this." Kind of postures up, starts throwing ground and pound. Austen Lane then gives up his back, and then he gets the RNC from there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it just it like good for him to get back in the winning column.
Yes.
Just obviously just the first fight in new division, so just got to give him time and stuff to like just figure everything out. But yeah, that definitely wasn't the most inspiring performance.
It wasn't the most inspiring, but I'm gonna give him a little bit of grace. New fight in a new division, and to be fair, like I've heard so many people say it, like it's hard to do anything against someone who's just laying there, essentially not doing anything, not giving you any openings to do anything. All Austen Lane was doing was just, holding him there. Now, Vitor could have done better and not kept fish hooking his legs into Austen Lane's legs. Yeah, because Austen Lane wasn't using his legs at all.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to get out of that shit at all. You could have let that go a lot earlier.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll see what he ends up doing in this heavyweight division. Probably not too much, but it is what it is.
Hey, we need life in it. I'll take anyone I can get at this point, damn near.
Yes, very true. Very true. Next one, Junior Tafa. He was moving down from heavyweight to 205 pounds, taking on Tuco Tokkos. I really thought that Tafa should have been able to win this one.
He should have been able to, but he continues to show negative grappling IQ.
Yeah, it's just so bad, man.
Like, I don't know why, like, when he was getting up on the cage, he was then, like, going down to basically his ass and then grabbing the leg and basically just pulling Tuco on top of him. Like, it's the way he was defending the grappling just made no sense whatsoever. Not fighting for any type of underhooks, not fighting to break the grips, none of that.
Yeah, the one moment that stood out to me in his grappling defense that was really funny was he was getting back up to his feet, and he went and he like bent over to grab like the Tuco's leg, and then proceeded to take his left hand and push so hard on Tuco's head that like they both just fell, and Tuco ended up on top of him because Tafa just like I was like, oh, nice.
Like tried to push and pull at the same time, and
yeah,
again, that's because they know what he's doing.
Because it's just like pushing down on the head, like when someone's going, that is a good thing because you're
Yes.
breaking the posture and stuff, but you're supposed to end up on top.
But
Like,
if you're gonna do it that way, it should be like, instead of like, because he was kind of going like this with it, it should have been down and out, because then he can pull that leg over and then end up on like at least a scramble position to where he can then like move out of the way of the rest of the scramble, like something like that. He then hurts Tuco in the second round, isn't able to finish him, and then Tuco ends up getting a takedown and arm triangle, right? At 4 minutes 52 seconds of the second round, like.
Yep. Had like 8 minutes of control time.
Yeah.
It was Tuco's first UFC win, so good for him. That's definitely a very good one to have.
Yep.
But yeah,
neither Tafa is the better Tafa.
get the Tafas out of here, man.
No, for real. They're not. They don't have it. They're just not UFC level. Like,
what happened to all the heavyweights, man? You know what I mean? Terrible.
You know what? Fuck it. Get them either into Mike Perry's dirty boxing thing or get them to BKFC. I feel like they do good there.
Yeah, that would definitely be much more suited for them.
Yeah, I mean,
no leg kicks, no takedowns.
Junior Tafa came in at 3-0. I don't know when.
Just Tafa came in somewhere around there as well. Like he was like 4-0 or something.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that doesn't help at all.
No, hell no. They also, like, I was looking at their fight camp, like NTG fight. They're the only two who have made it to the UFC, and half of them don't even have professional fights.
Nice.
So no idea who
They're
they're
paving the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go. And then the last fighter that was changing weight classes. Main event of the prelims, or the feature bout of the prelims, I should say. Chris Curtis taking on Max Griffin. This was also just a bit of a lackluster performance to me as well from Chris Curtis against Max being Griffin. He struggled way more in that fight than I thought he was going to.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I feel like that's all there is to say about it. Too long to go to 170. He's gonna be 38 years old, literally next month, where it's just like, what are we doing here?
Yep.
You know, it's too late. What did we think? Talking about Max Griffin's an old man, so the fuck is Chris Curtis? Finally cutting weight to 170. It's like, I don't know why people thought like, oh yeah, he's gonna do something now. It's like he waited years too long. Has taken too much damage. Doesn't matter the weight class, and now just here he is, just aged.
But still, a vet would still like to see him against some of the younger prospects. I think him versus Jacoby Smith makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely fine. I'm sure he'll just be continuing to take fights for as long as he keeps on feeling like fighting for. So
yeah.
But let's go. Other than that, what on the prelims do you guys want to bring up and talk about? Because we did have some pretty goddamn good stuff going on, I'm not gonna lie.
There is a lot of stuff to talk about, but I feel like the only one I have to bring up is Fatima Kline. She was the only draft fighter of the week. It was my draft fighter of the week, and she looked very good in her fight against Melissa Martinez. She was doing really good with her striking, just keeping her distance, just putting just good strikes on her. She really didn't go to the grappling too much. It wasn't until round 2 that she went over 2 on takedowns, but she was just very happy to stay on the feet and just strike with Melissa. And then the third round, it was really quite a beautiful knockout. Fatima went in with the right hand, had Melissa kind of lean off to the side off the right hand, step back, and just brought up the fucking lead leg, hit her in the head and knocked her out. It was beautiful.
Yeah. It was she landed a jab right before, kind of feints that right hand, and then comes up with the leg kick as Melissa was, trying to counter off of it and just gets completely knocked out. That, not quite knocked out, but knocked out by that.
Yeah.
But it was impressive as hell.
No, yeah, for sure. Just looked very solid the whole way through, and then was
Yep.
like, well, I guess we'll get it done here.
Yeah. And just it's like, obviously it's not like, Melissa Martinez is like, just been like, around for a long time, like proven fighter or anything, but 8-1 going into it, and the fight going, like 12 and a half minutes, landing at a 50% significant strike rate. It's pretty damn good. That's a very solid number to land at. There's every other strike you're throwing, you're landing. So
Yeah.
just a very solid for her. And throwing 181 significant strikes in that fight too. So just fighting at a good rate too. Yeah, very solid performance. Just very sudden knockout too. Just was not expecting it when it came out.
No,
Just
yeah,
at a
like I
fucking
said, it
yeah,
was
point.
just so
100%.
quick. She just landed that right hand, leaned back, threw up her fucking leg, and boom, done.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely seeing with that one that the strawweight is the division for her.
yeah, and we knew that.
Yeah, I
She
know.
Oh,
knew.
yeah.
But it's just like, clearly we got ourselves a strawweight prospect. And very excited to
100%.
see what she can do. I know I had to just be the little fake sadness and salty that you got to win on the draft and wanting her to lose for that, but it is very nice to see her get a nice win like that.
Yeah, fuck you. It was nice.
$50,000 too.
Hell yeah, got
I had a
herself a
feeling
bonus.
she was gonna get a performance bonus. I was like, that was too clean of a fucking knockout. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, for sure. But with that brought me to 16-4.
terrible. I hate it. It's awful. I'm 12-5.
I'm 13-5 then, because I know I have one more win than.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up at like fucking 13-10. My
You
only
have way more fights booked for that.
my only win over the next 6 like fights is gonna be Tim Elliott.
Or Kyle Sakura.
No, it's gonna be Tim Elliott's gonna dominate Kaya.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Ginger, what do you want to bring up from the prelims?
Oh, I'm glad you had me go first, because JakeMatthews looked incredible against Chidi and Njokuani.
Yeah.
Like, it was, he immediately, like, gets into a clinch, does a tie throw, and then just gets to the back. Puts in, like, they called it a short choke, which is a variation of the RNC. And instead of, like, going in and getting, deep here, what he did was he got here, and then was like, using his elbow as a fulcrum, because he was going off to the side to get that choke deeper in.
Yeah.
Which is how he got Chidi to tap out from that position. So really good. I think he called out Gilbert Burns. He said his coach would kill him if he didn't call out Gilbert Burns. And to be honest, I don't mind the fight.
Yeah. It's a very good one. Gilbert, he's gonna fight any motherfucker the UFC offers him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who, what, when, where, why. And that's just a good one. Really see where JakeMatthews is at in the welterweight division at 30 years old. Really starting to put shit together. I like it.
Oh yeah, 30 years old. He's an 11-year vet. Insane to say.
Crazy.
22 fights in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Phil Rowe, Prado, Chidi, like that's good. And I mean, like he was right. Like Michael Morales, like that was his last loss. Like what? Not taking terrible losses either, especially in the last like 4 years. Like the only one that I would say would be bad would be the Semmelsberger one, but the other ones are Sean Brady and Michael Morales.
Yeah, not bad at all. Definitely, probably should be getting a top 15 opponent next. Yeah. Let's see how it all plays out for him. And then for me, I feel like the one that I have to bring up is none other than Valter Walker.
Yeah.
This motherfucker 3 times in a row. 3 motherfucking times.
Yeah.
Going out there and grabbing heel hooks in the heavyweight division.
Yep.
It's absolutely incredible. I've seen enough. Give him a title shot.
Okay.
Yes, because wins over Junior Tafa, Dontel Mays, and Kennedy and Nzechukwu are definitely the 3-fight win streak you need to go up to the top.
After coming off a loss to Lucas Bresky. I will keep bringing this up.
I believe we
up.
have also been over this many a times that the one true loss on Tom Aspinall's record is a heel hook loss to Stuart Austen. And Valter Walker is obviously better than Stuart Austin, and
How
he's
long
going to
ago
win
was
by
that
heel hook.
fucking loss?
It was probably like 8 years ago, okay, or longer. It's fine. Tom has become a black belt afterwards, but it doesn't matter.
10 years! 10 fucking years!
I don't care. I have seen enough.
10 years and 1 month exactly.
Valter Walker versus Tommy Espinal. I will say it was very slick of just like had fucking Kennedy up against the cage in the way that he just dropped down perfectly in position.
Yes, that was
grabbed on it, like
beautiful.
Kennedy fucking he did a short little tap, then started to fucking yell and then just started tapping again. Yeah, he fucking got him
All of his
so
heel
fast
hooks
with
are
that.
getting quicker too. 4 minutes and 56 seconds of round 1, a minute 17, and now 54 seconds.
25-second heel hook he's gonna land on Tommy Espinal. Let's go.
He's losing his next fight, but
Again, I think he should fight his teammate first. I think he should fight Mick Parkin. Like, actually get him into the rankings and shit.
bro, for a second I thought you meant Valter's teammate. I was like, bro, who's teammate? Why would he do that?
Johnny Walker moves up to heavyweight to fight Valter Walker in a UFC Apex main event.
Hey, Johnny had said he wants to move up to heavyweight.
Yep. But
that's a terrible idea.
Valter, he should definitely fight top 15, and it probably should be ranked top 15 comparatively to some other people, especially someone like Tallison, who is 1-1 in the UFC and now 3-fight win streak for Valter. Definitely deserves that.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think Martin Boudet is fighting fuck. I just signed with the UFC. Boucher.
Boucher. Yeah.
So Mick Parkin.
Yep.
Let's do it.
That is a good fight. I do like
he
that.
Didn't take any damage. I was about to say, he didn't take any damage. Like, did he goose egg? Yeah, he goose egg Kennedy and Nzechukwu. 0 strikes, 0 total strikes, 0 takedowns, 0 reversals, 0 sub attempts. Goose egged him. It's 3 seconds
so
control
basically
time.
what we're saying is that Marcus Boucher is going to go out there, sub Martin Boudet, and then we do Marcus Boucher versus Valter Walker.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying, but definitely not going that far.
Let's go.
I think we just have them plus Ante Delia just moving up simultaneously.
Yes. No, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But that is all the stuff to talk about from the prelims. Very good stuff going on from Nashville. A whole lot of fun. Tapology, absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was not good. Ginger did horrible.
I did do terrible.
Adding to his 3rd place streak and records. You gotta love it.
It wasn't terrible. I did great, and yeah, I won.
Yeah, terrible.
That's why it's terrible.
I know, that's not terrible. You won last week. It was time for me to get a win. It's been a while.
I guess that's a little bit fair. It has been mainly Ginger this fucking year. It's pretty awful.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
yeah. So we're getting back on the winning tracks. Let's go.
Yeah, dog.
And then with the draft already mentioned that you with the only one fighter in Fatima Kline. So very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is all the stuff.
I'd say we each have a couple. Oh, Kitty's the only one who doesn't have a fighter next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
You have Vinicius Oliveira.
I'm not happy about that. I'm gonna lose, bro.
You're gonna win that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm gonna end up at 13.
Kyler Phillips is kind of an interesting matchup for Vinicius. I do think it is. Like, that's not like a very 100% for sure thing. I'm 60-40 for Vinicius, but that is a hard fight. And then I have Marvin Vittori versus Brendan Allen, and I have Dakota Sheva who's gonna win her fight.
So you're going 1-1. Jimmy's going 1-0.
Dakota's getting knocked the fuck out.
What the fuck?
Crazy.
That'd be so sad.
I was about to say, don't put that evil into the world.
The greatest fighter outside of the UFC right now, just getting smashed by. Oh, that'd be bad. But that's everything to talk about for this episode. Like and subscribe if you did, and we will catch you previewing. Oh, some great shit next week.
The middest of pay-per-views you could kind of have.
Okay, yeah,
quantity,
but
quantity over quality.
The overall,
but the main event
of weekends though.
Yeah,
Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, I'm not.
We got Johnny Eblen this weekend. We got. Don't fucking make that. Johnny Eblin is a top 5 middleweight in the world.
Watch something else. Don't watch my face. I didn't control that. It just happened.
Look, we got PFL Africa 1. We have Usyk versus Dubois 2. Holloway versus Poirier. Pacquiao fights next weekend. We got a bunch of shit.
I don't care about that. I'm sorry. He's got to be at least 50 years old.
Bro's bringing up boxing to make me care about the weekend.
It's Usyk.
He's 46.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Look who's not listening to you. Oh my goodness. Peace out, everyone. We'll catch you.